Live na po. Share ko lang po.
Ayan, so good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be having our another Kwentong Pix Pro. So it's about exploring the quantum future, no? So, ayan, good afternoon. And kamusta po kayo? And from Lenelio Opida Morga, greetings from Pix Promena. Good afternoon, ma'am. Greetings from the Philippines po. So ayun, I'm looking forward talaga dito sa magiging topic natin since it is broad and the same time parang this is a topic to look forward to in the future, no?
Ayan, good afternoon mga ka-Pix Pro.
And good afternoon, good afternoon. And from Mr. Chair, Angel Redoble, magandang hapon mga ka-Pix Pro. Magandang hapon Mr. Chair from the comment sa Facebook Live. And from Sir Alan Pakulan, good afternoon mga ka-Pix Pro. Good afternoon po, sir. So ayun, in a while we'll be introducing our speaker, no, for this session ng Kwentuhang Pix Pro. So ayun, no, so I would like to introduce our speaker for today. It is Dr. Nino A. Narido. Dr. Nino is a certified technology architect, data solutions expert, and dedicated industry lecturer. He holds a doctor in information technology from the University of the East, bringing an academic pedigree that matches his extensive corporate background. Dr. Nino's career began handling the bank data center at Philam AIG, progressed through Accenture, and currently finds him at IBM where he designs and implements complex IT architectural solutions for international clients. So, as a heavily certified SAP ETL, SAP Analytic Cloud in SAP BW HANA, and enterprise analytics professional, Dr. Nina understands exactly what it takes to protect and optimize data assets in complex global environments, a perspective that highly resonates with cybersecurity practitioners. Beyond his technical achievements, Dr. Narido, through advocacy, is bridging the gap between academia and the fast-paced IT industry. So, aiming to produce well-rounded, resilient IT graduates who possess the technical prowess, security-minded awareness, and the ethical grounding and confidence needed to swiftly climb the corporate ladder. Dr. Nino?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me in this event. It's really an honor having me here. Can you hear me, by the way, just to check?
Yes po, sir. It's audible.
Nice. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm really excited right now with my presentation today. I know it's very timely to introduce this topic. And as you know, cybersecurity is a very prevalent, very most important subject matter, not only for academia, but also for industry. So, without further ado, I would just like to share my screen, my presentation. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, thank you, John. So thank you for the introduction as well. So thank you for the, okay, for everyone who are already watching in. So just relax and grab your popcorn and try to enjoy the presentation. Okay, so my topic my topic today is regarding cybersecurity in the quantum era. So why we need to focus on this? We all know that AI is very rapidly dominating nowadays, and as we all know, and there is a need for high computing uh, uh, prowess that needs to suffice the needs for AI. And in the next 3 years or 5 years, there will be several threats with the coming of the with the usage of heavily of AI, and there are um, lingering threats happening uh, in the next 5 years, and we all know that eventually uh, uh, blockchain is also one of the technology that is and distributedly one of the most sophisticated security technology that was developed for the past 2 decades. And as of now, in the upcoming advancement of AI, we all know there will be. We're just waiting, we're just waiting for the right time when will the cryptocurrency will be vulnerable. Um, there is a saying that if the market of the Bitcoin price uh, happens to be devaluated in the next, let's say, next week, uh, we encounter a news that Bitcoin is going to devaluate, or somehow Bitcoin has been transferred to another account, so there will be substantial um, prediction that the security of blockchain will be somehow uh, it will be more on yun nga, mawawala yung vulnerability niya. So it will be the most headline. Yun ang magiging headline. And we all know that if that happens, ibig sabihin, yung security natin o yung encryption na meron tayo sa atin in terms of our premise sa domain, no? It is somehow a lingering threat, no? And what would be the best way to understand, no, how we will be able to adapt, how we will be able to uh, um, counter, no, yung threats na to sa atin, no, as a human being, no. So as you can see, no, foundation of quantum is actually it's a very prevalent because it will be the one who's going to protect the in the security of, or um it will somehow exponentially improve the security of a certain security of a system. Kasi nowadays, if you will see, no, ang ating security nowadays sa mga systems natin, it has a limitation, no? It has limitation that can be somehow it can be it can be more on a uh, may potential na ma-encrypt, ma-decrypt yung mga current security natin. As of now, yung RSA security in the last year, no, last year actually, it was said that the RSA key is no longer a viable solution, and we need to jump into a modern type of security that would somehow protect our systems. And in the coming post-quantum post-quantum era, we need to somehow introduce another technology that will cover the gap between that particular advancement, no. So let's now move on, no. What's the foundation of quantum computing, no? So according in this case, no, it's an introduction to quantum mechanics, or somehow not only for hardware but also the principle of driving exponential computational capabilities. How do we define computing? Nowadays, we use technologies such as cloud computing, no? And there are two computing comparison that we need to look at, no? The one is the classical, and the other one is the quantum computing. When we talk about classical computing, we're talking about basic unit, no? Leveraging traditional transistors or silicon-based bits, no? And it is cost around $0 or $1, no? And operational logic computes strictly sequentially parsing, no? Parsing execution pathway one by one. So hindi ganun ka-complex yung operations nowadays, no? But sa atin, yan yung current na meron tayong operational logic. But that's our classical, that's from the classical point of view, no? And now, yung limitation, no? Scaling limit, okay? Linear scaling capability restricts processing of highly complex mathematical states. So may mga limitations sa classical computing. Whereas when we are going to transition to quantum computing, what are some of the advantage, you know? From here, from basic units, no, in quantum, it will utilize subatomic quantum bits or qubits, representing complex physical states. Another one is operational logic. It will evaluate highly complex parallel computational spaces instantly. And then the scaling power, again, it will maximize, no, scales exponentially, processing complex multidimensional problems in minutes, not not in days or not in weeks, not in months, not in year. It's just a matter of minutes. So ganun ka advantage, no, if you're going to go to quantum computing. But again, an early stage, no? Maaga pa masyado. Pero again, it is being introduced not only for several industries, no, sa healthcare, but sa defense, no? It is also being introduced nowadays. And what are the core quantum principles, no? There are three principles which we can um, focus on. Number one is the superposition. And superposition is a qubits exist in simultaneous in both of 0 and 1, no. So yun yung way of measuring the superposition. Creating an active state space representing infinitely parallel outcomes. So if you can see, no, qubits is when you compare it to bits, no, which is the current state ng ano natin, no, ng logical processing natin. Qubits exponentially growth is par amount, no, par mas malawak, no. It encompasses multidimensional facet compared to bits, no. Another one is entanglement, no. Entanglement is a physical connection where change in one qubit is instantly mirrored by its counterpart, enabling lightning fast synchronization. So in terms of performance, as you can see, it is much more faster compared to classical positions, no. And the other one is the interference. Interference is a controlling quantum waves to constructively amplify valid computations while destructively canceling incorrect mathematical paths. So interference is a way of how you automatically, you know, recorrect or redirect everything, and it amplifies the validation of errors, no, in an instant way, you know, like self-curing, no, yung let's say yung error ng isang system, or let's say error ng isang computer, no, it amplifies the how it will correct itself from error, no. So according to them, if we apply quantum computing in our systems, there is a notion that it will give freedom to all developers, because developers are one who fix the errors sa mga systems. But in this case, no, interference is one way of how you will automate the process of correcting the errors of a system, no, or of a computing system. So it will automatically heal itself and then understand the error, and then again it will generate a vast amount of large knowledge base, and then it will be self-curing ang mangyari, no. There will be system that will have a vast of multitude of error-free system. Yun naman talagang goal ng how human evolves, you know. So in terms of computing, we solve all those problems, no. We solve those errors, and applying quantum will somehow eliminate those errors in the future. Another one is a cryptographic threat, no. Ito yung pinag-uusapan natin na how you will analyze and quantum algorithms, no, and compromise RSA, ACC, and let's say the Diffie-Hellman protocols, no. and why classical systems are highly vulnerable. So again, as you can see, RSA is now uh, uh, required to uh, replace, because there's a paper, na RSA is totally outdated, and eventually, everything will follow, and the only way to resolve that is to, again, not again to jump easily to quantum, but again, gradually, slowly, i-adapt natin yung concept ng quantum algorithm into counter. Ika-counter natin yung mga threats na yan sa atin, sa systems natin. Especially if you are an architect, of a large system, ang lagi mong goal is make sure that you are always checked, Hindi we don't know kung kailan aatake, Kailan sila kailan magkakaroon ng incident, na hindi natin na-anticipate na as much as possible. The only thing is total sabi nga natin kailangan maging alert lagi, in terms of any upcoming threats. Think out of the box na ano yung mga possible threats na mangyari sa atin, sa systems, And according to another one is the quantum algorithms and threats. There's a difference between Shor's and Grover's algorithm, In modern cryptology, hinges on mathematical intractable factoring or discrete logarithm, equation. Quantum hardware bypasses these mathematical boundaries. Kasi yan yung limitations natin sa classical. So in applying this quantum advantage, it will somehow bypass these mathematical boundaries kasi yun limited lang kasing computing power ng classical. In Shor's algorithm, breaks RSA and elliptical curve which is the ECC, elliptic curve cryptography in minutes by finding prime factors of large integers. So yun yung way paano siya i-decrypt yung RSA, using again RSA in order to break the code or decode the RSA, finding factors of large integers. Yun yung way using the elliptic curve cryptography. Another one is yung Grover's algorithm, which is accelerates key space searches, effectively having standard AES 128, which is yun naman yung pinaka-commonly ginagamit, Again, levels to a week of 64 bits, So yun yung mga currently kaya nga tayo ina-upgrade natin to 256, 256 AES. But again, eventually even 256, again, sabi nga mitigation is migrate immediately to 256 bits, which is lahat naman tayo naka 256. Pero may mga mangilan-ngilan pa rin na gumagamit ng 64 to 128. But again, symmetric encryption and post-quantum public keys are very, again, we don't know yung mga public keys natin can be traced, with the advent of large language models, they can funnel, get that public key and then exploit, But again, it's a thing that based on classical way, matagal pa bago ma-decrypt. But again, there is a potential threat that can be somehow be obsolete in the next 5 to 10 years. Again, post-quantum security, discovering, again, when you say post-quantum security, it is discovering standardized post-quantum cryptography or physical quantum defenses and strategic migration framework. So this is way on how we reframe our cybersecurity, by applying post-quantum security methodology. And again, this kind of methodology is one way on how we will be able to deal with again with post-quantum cryptography uh, incidents that will happen in the next 5 to 10 years. Pillars of post-quantum crypto, there are, we can say, we have the MLKEM or FIPS 203, and then the MLDSA FIPS 204, and then the SLH DSA FIPS 205. So these are some of the pillars of post-quantum crypto, standardized module lattice, which is for again for KEM. It will replace classical Diffie-Hellman and RSA key exchanges across TLS, VPN, and HTTPS protocols. Whereas for the primary digital signature based on modular lattices, FIPS 204 can be applied as replacement for RSA and ECDSA to protect code, identities, and signatures. And then for stateless hash signatures, we can say FIPS 205 serving as a vital fallback in case future crypto analysis exposes vulnerabilities in modular lattice math. So these are the three ways on how we could somehow apply quantum defense, or quantum shield, Quantum key distributions of physics-based safety. Yung sinasabi nila, So we have the CKD. CKD is it's a terminology being used, to utilize the fundamental laws of quantum physics rather than complex math to securely exchange symmetric cryptography keys. By using single photons, and any attempt of eavesdrop alters quantum behaviors, and then triggering the real-time warning and terminating the link. Is a CKD approach that can somehow mitigate any possible again attack, from the system. Another one is again, what is our strategic enterprise roadmap in terms of advancing our security? Again, perform complete network scan to inventory from current public key algorithms, certificates, and dependencies across all infrastructures. Again, for architects, code bases and configuration management to swap cryptography algorithms without modifying basic application or core logic. It's one way of protecting the investment that we have we're in terms of managing all our systems knowledge base, yung mga codes natin. And then of course for the ano natin sa yung configuration management, napaka-importante yan, kailangan ma-secure din yan, yes. And then initiate combined hybrid security parameters in production, such as classical X25519, which is paired with quantum MLKEM to guarantee safety. So yun yung one way of how we can apply hybrid security parameters. Again, we have this question, and actually, how does quantum computing differ from classical computing? So it's a question, why RSA vulnerable to quantum computers? Why there's a paper that why we need to replace RSA immediately. So there's an urgency nowadays that all systems from different industries, okay, we have to replace RSA in our system because they found a backdoor, backdoor access. What is quantum key distribution? As mentioned a while ago, quantum key distribution utilizes fundamental laws of quantum physics. So it uses single photons. Any attempt of eavesdrops alter and quantum behavior, triggering real-time warning and terminating that link. So yun yung purpose ng CKD, okay? And then why is post-quantum cryptography important? We all know when we advances our defense system, it is important that what is our next step on cybersecurity. So from here, we're thinking ahead from 10 years to 20 years, what will be the next solution? Are we going to still be classical, or we're going to move to quantum? So again, post-quantum cryptography is, we can say, a good investment, for our systems, How can organization prepare for the quantum era? That's a question, in terms of hardware, technology, and then the science behind it, We all know quantum technology, quantum mathematical is very new to us. But again, with the advancement of our again, why we need to improve our education system as well, applying nanotechnology, in our curriculum, in order to understand what is quantum all about. So creating practitioners, educators, creating again future industry, industry and practitioners for the quantum technology, is one of the potential good career in the next 10 to 15 years, or 10 to 20 years, So key takeaways: quantum technology uses quantum mechanics for computing, and then quantum computers may break current encryption systems. Quantum cryptography offers more secure communication. Post-quantum cryptography protects against future threats. And organization must begin transitioning to quantum safe systems. So with my references here, with NIST 2024, Quantum Computing for Everyone, 2019, Quantum Computing for Quantum Information, 2010, Cambridge University Press, Peter W. Shor, 1997, Polynomial Time Algorithm for Prime Factorization and Discrete Logarithm. Log K. Grover, 1996, a fast quantum mechanic algorithm for database search. Proceeding with the 28th Annual ACM Symposium of Theory of Computing. IBM, which I am currently, affiliated for 15 years. What is computing? Which is published in our website. Google Quantum AI, quantum computing, which is Quantumai, that Google, European Telecommunication Standard Institute, or QTSI, 2024, Quantum Safe Cryptography and Security. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which is year 2025, preparing for post-quantum world. And then the NSA, 2025, Commercial National Security Algorithm Suite 2.0, CNSA 2.0, which is under nsa.gov. So that's all for my presentation today. I'm open for the Q&A. Again, before we start Q&A, I would just like to say this: as quantum technology transforms cybersecurity, let innovation be driven by excellence and guided by humanity. So thank you for your time, and the floor is now open for Q&A. Yes, John?
Ayun po, sir. Thank you for that knowledgeable presentation po. So, I have prepared some of the questions po since I have listened on what you have talked earlier po. So, one of the questions is, ano po, what are the steps or ideas, sir, from transitioning from classical computing to quantum computing po?
Again, for transitioning, number one is we need to understand what are the basic units, what are the operational logic, what are the scaling power that we need to put or to invest with. For basic unit, we need to utilize subatomic quantum bits, transitioning from bits to qubits. Yun yung number one, yun yung goal. We need to move from bit technology, 32 bits, 64 bit, 128 bits, 2 qubits na, and representing much more physical states. Another one is the operational logic, which is we need to evaluate highly complex parallel computational space. That is very important. If without the parallel computing, then it will be a heavy burden from the IT community. Scaling power scales exponentially. Again, process complex multidimensional problems, which can be done in minutes instead of days or years or decades. No, that's the advantage if you are going to move or transition to quantum. I hope that answers the question.
Ay po, sir. So, for the next question po, what are the possible threats in cryptography and how can post-quantum security freeze it or protects a certain system from it in the future po?
Again, there are ways on how to deal with it, threats, no? Again, what are the industry that will be affected? Again, there are banking, in the manufacturing, the government itself, no, the defense, no, it's also one way of preparing, no. We need to improve our defense, no, in terms of cybersecurity. We all know there are several threats that is happening right now. Different countries like superpower countries, no, fighting each other, no, and then as our country, no, sits on a situation that we are being again bullied, no, we need, it is timely, we need to counter these threats within our with our premise, no. Kailangan ready tayo to with those attacks, no. And alam ko na we all know that we had that same feeling that we are being hostage, no, somehow, because we lack infrastructure, no, we lack technology infrastructure to uphold our cybersecurity technology. But again, it is timely, for us to step up and do our share on how we can advance our defense system, no, in our country.
Ay po, thank
Yeah.
you po, sir. So, for the second to the last question po, I'm sorry, sir, since I'm so invested in this topic, so I've gathered many questions po. So,
Okay lang, that's fine. More the merrier.
yes po. So, for the pillars of post-quantum crypto po, how can we exercise and use these pillars to its maximum capacity in order for more stronger security in certain systems po?
Okay, number one, we need to understand the technology itself, no? What's the science behind it? What is nanotechnology? How do you build your own quantum computing? Not just just assembling your machine, no? Like a PC, you have CPU, hardware, you have your RAM, and then you have your hard disk, and then your motherboard. It's not just like that, no? So we need to understand how quantum computing is being treated as a way on how to implement it in a national level, national or local level, no, we need to invest, no, we need to invest on how to understand the science behind it. And there are several courses in the US. Actually, I have my niece, no, that enrolled in quantum computing in Stanford, and she applied for this uh, uh, course, no, regarding nanotechnology. And it is very important na to time start, no, sa education on how can we understand quantum science. And then from here, from the pillars that we have, no, how can we apply it in a system that is again, how can we integrate, again, doing POCs, no, we apply simultaneous exercise, or we try to um create sandbox, no, yun ang importante. We try, we test, we we destroy. That's the way of our how we no, how we understand things, no, in terms of development. Reverse engineer, no, you apply, you dismantle, rebuild again, apply it again, integrate it, and then gather all the lesson learned. It is a painful thing that most of us can say that early stage of understanding FIPS 203, FIPS 204, and FIPS 205, applying it in our system is somehow it will financially impact our pockets, because we're talking about qubits, and the data that is being generated from this um, pillars, or the post-quantum or CKD, no, na sinasabi, no, it generates vast amount of data. And that's the only way of our, in order for you to manage the data that is being created in this particular approach, no, it will require large amount of data, and we need to understand how to again, yung fitting ng technology, and we need also hardware specific. Invest din tayo sa hardware, not only for the software but also for the hardware, kasi saan tayo makakakuha niyan? Again, there are a lots of cloud computing technology like Google, IBM, Amazon caters services for quantum, but the price is really ayun nga, medyo mahal. But again, we try. What we can do is we try and explore.
Okay po, sir. Thank you. For my last question po. So, you tackled po earlier regarding how can organizations prepare for the quantum era, and as you said earlier po, and it's one of the ways is to put it on our curriculum po. If I'm asking lang po if you have other ways po, if you were given a chance to have or have the opportunity to disseminate or share information about the preparation of the quantum era po. Ayun, thank you po.
Okay, number one is, of course, we need to need partnership, no, create a partnership, not only within the premise natin, no, we need to broaden up ourselves, no, reach out to other universities, no, that has this kind of curriculum, outside the country, no? Let's do partnership. And number one. Number two is we invest people to be integrated in those technology, expose those people, no, that will somehow be the trainer, no, train the trainer. So we invest people, let them do the training outside the country that has this already, that already been doing this for several years, no, like like the United States, no. There, and also I think China is also one of the pillars of and then Japan as well, no? Also speeding up their quantum technology. So we need partners, no? We need to partner with those countries that already been working for almost a decade. Actually, not on decades. It's been 40 years, 30 years been they already established this kind of technology in from their in curriculum. And then again, we invest people, bring them, let the people understand, learn it, and then train it. Once they are trained, then they need to go back and teach and apply, and then bring back the technology back to the Philippines. So that's how I think that we could somehow learn how to integrate that, no, again, familiarity about the science behind it, and then again, practice, and then applying the on how it will be implemented, again, for enterprise or small enterprise, no? So ganun lang, yun yung nakikita kong way on how we could somehow integrate that, or somehow maumpisahan na natin i-apply sa curriculum. I think UP is all now um, uh, fast track in learning quantum. That's it for my answer, John. Yep.
Thank you for the answer, sir. So we'll be entertaining now comments or questions rather from the Facebook Live po. So from Patrick Sulit, how how quantum computing changed the attack surface and threat vector ability?
Yes, again, when you say quantum, we're talking about exponential power of the parallelism of the how how it will be process its data, no? Again, we're talking about data pa rin, eh. It's about data on how you treat those data again, and then from the data, again, from bits to qubits, yun yung advantage. It has much more faster compared to the classical.
Okay po, sir. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
And if ever na you still have questions or you wish to know more about quantum security or any other factors of the presentation that was tackled earlier, you can comment it down so you'll know more and be more knowledgeable about that certain presentation. So earlier po, Dr. Nino, there's a comment po which is for career shifter, good start po ba ang cyber threat intelligence analyst sa AMA?
Again, as a way of how you transition to from again, it depends on how you will apply your knowledge, kasi depende kung ano yung alam mo, eh. So number one is, before you go to that goal, no, you need to learn or to gather experience mo. Number one yun. Based on my my experience, I learned from scratch muna. Understand the basic knowledge of computing, you know. Before you go uh cybersecurity, uh understand the basic, and then gather in gather experience, no? Yun nga importante, yung experience. If you if someone will um um hire you, no, to learn how to apply network security in a low income, mababa lang yung sweldo. Start small, no? Pero yung task na gagawin mo doon, pasok ba yun sa target ko na maging cybersecurity analyst in the future? Dapat ipo-project mo na kaagad kung yung papasukin mong work is aligned doon sa gusto mong mangyari. Sa align mong maging career. Dapat align. Hindi pwedeng mag-start ka na, let's say, development, no? Let's say, again, sa akin, in my case, I've been doing development and then support at the same time. Eventually, during the experience that I've worked with different projects, different companies, no? Papasok dun yung cybersecurity. Hindi pwedeng hindi mo daanan yun kasi required yun. When you onboard sa project, kailangan mag-take ka ng cybersecurity courses. And from there, you will learn kung ano yung mga best practices, ano yung mga pattern na kailangan mo i-apply. When you say, ako in my case, data yung ina-handle ko, no? I need to protect the data from my clients. Make sure that I'm aligned using the cybersecurity standards, no? There, you will be able to project that if you want to be a cybersecurity analyst, dapat pasok dun sa magiging target mo from day one. Pag hindi, you need to look for kung ano yung dapat. Again, start small. Hindi pwedeng start big, hindi ganun. You need a little sacrifice. From that simple sacrifice, you learn. Yun importante yung learn eh. That learn from the hard way. Hindi yung parang easy lang makukuha mo yung knowledge na from ang easy PC na na experience. No, learn it from the hard way. Yun yung importante, no? If you encounter such difficult project, you will be a more strong resource in the future. And then align mo yung sarili mo to what is your specific target in the next 5 to 10 years.
Hi po, sir. Thank you for that answer po. So we also have another question from Sir Joseph C. Padua. So
Hi, Joseph.
explain further how healing in quantum computing happens.
Oh yes, actually that's a good one way of again, as we all know, no, pag may error ang isang computer, no, from a classical approach, no, magpa-pop up yung error, di ba? Unknown error. Let's say usually mga DLL files ng mga ganon. Currently, yung mga technology natin nowadays, they cannot handle that. Walang way to handle that because there's no way to collect and then process and then archive, no? Walang ganong mechanism yung mga systems natin ngayon. But if you will create a system that will collect those errors, again, create those errors, data pa rin. It will flow data. It will have data. If you know how to collect those data, and that from that data, you create a list of database that will somehow corresponds to those error. What will be the algorithm to match which solution fits to those error? data pa rin. Gather the error logs, and then create a vast amount of library that will fix those errors. And then create a simultaneous parallelism. And for each error, he will maglo-look up siya sa library mo ng mga solution, and then it will we will push the solution, and if that solution requires patching, it will automatically patch itself and then automatically heal itself. No need to again, kaya nga tayo in production, we have weekly, we have monthly patch. Catastrophic yun pag nag-apply ng patch every month kasi maraming tatamaan. But again, applying this solution, treating those errors and creating a vast amount of solution, automating the process itself, then there you go. You have your self-healing process mechanism. Not yet, but eventually ginagawa na. Kaya nga may AI. Those are the things that mga kailangan ng career. 'Di ba? Maraming mga in demand na AI, yun ang mga kailangan gawin. Yun yung mga demand right now. And I hope that answers the question of Joseph.
Ay po, sir. Thank you po. So, I also have another question po, sir. For aspiring students po, which is graduating or students who want to pursue cybersecurity in the future, what you recommend for them, like as a stepping stone po, or as a way to slowly and surely tackle the cybersecurity sector po?
Okay. Cybersecurity sector, again, there's no fit one solution. There's no such perfect system. Okay? We need to be uncomfortable lagi. Kailangan hindi tayo maging komportable. We need to be uncomfortable lagi. Bakit kailangan maging uncomfortable? Kasi pag sanay ka na, comfortable ka na lang sa ganitong bagay at ito lang yung gusto mong malaman, you will not aspire yourself to improve yourself to learn more. Learning is one way of discipline as well, no? Hindi pwedeng kung ano yung alam mo, yun lang. Okay? Not only for network, not only for software, not only for hardware, but again, practice. Yun yung pinaka-importante. Regardless kung anong alam mo, you need to practice from every day. If it's required for you to learn it without payment or without salary, you invest, practice. Regardless kung anong methodology yan, kung Python, Java, C++, regardless kung anong technology. Let's say we now move to quantum computing. Again, practice. Learn and then practice and then deploy. Kasi kung hindi mo siya ite-test, hindi mo siya ipa-practice, hindi mo siya gagawin, at hindi ka magkakamali. Kasi yun yung kailangan mo gawin magkamali. And if you will not fail, then you will not be able to create that solution. Kaya nga solution we need to embrace problem. We need not to be comfortable at always. Kung feeling mo na last day mo na sa earth, bukas you're going to yun nga, ganun yung thinking, no? Feel mo dapat na ito na yung last day ko, kailangan may magawa ako na something na ganun. So parang napaka-urgent na kailangan matutunan mo to agad. At the same time, nandun yung desire to to succeed. Kasi hindi naman din puwedeng puro na lang ano, hindi puro aral 'no. Kailangan you need to have persistence 'no. Kung wala kang tiyaga to learn, hanggang dun na lang, then you will not succeed. Kasi you will not be able to push yung push yourself to the limit, Think out of the box, and then at the same time, eventually magpe-pay off 'yan, promise. I've been there. Hanggang ngayon, I've been doing that as practice. Maski bagong technology, bagong, programming language, if there's a required to learn, you learn it. Hindi sinasabing, age doesn't matter pagdating sa learning. Maski 50 years old kung kailangan mong aralin 'tong technology na 'to, yes, you can do it. It's up to you. It's up to kasi mayroon ng internet, 'di ba? When I was, in my high school, wala kaming Google, wala kaming YouTube. And during my, first stint sa Accenture 'no, and IBM, wala kaming mga ChatGPT, wala kaming mga Discord, wala kaming mga Reddit 'no. Saan kami kumukuha ng solution? Sa libro. We're looking at the book itself kung paano siya ginawa, from the software itself, how it's being created, and then reverse engineer. You destroy, and then you build again. Yun way, and then you perfect the system itself. Practice lang, practice, constant practice.
Ayun po, sir. Thank you for that question po. And I've gathered a lot of knowledgeable information about it po. And before we end this discussion po, I would like to say hello to the officers of PixPro and the board of directors of PixPro. And I really appreciate Dr. Nino, the time you have given to us and the presentation you have lent to us po. And we surely have gathered a lot of information about quantum po, and we'll surely look that in the future po. And
Yes, I'm also, happy that I was invited as well 'no. Again, I'm happy to collaborate to everyone in this, organization. It's been a privilege 'no. I'm really happy. This is a blessing for me, knowing this group, and, again, we will way forward. We will forge our country ready for quantum computing.
yes po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Nino.
Thank you din, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Till next time po mga ka-Pix Pro. Happy lang, walang weekend. Bye-bye!